Tim Piles.
And I'm Kevin Kent.
We're not sure about that, but we're here at McGregor's Spaghetti Saturdays. You got to check it out. It's Bar Talk Live. We got our man, special effects guru Mike Marshall. We're going to find out how he does it. I'm very curious about it. Let's go.
Let's get a side pour. Somebody left me a side pour.
Side pour. It's Bar Talk Live. I'm Tim Piles. What's up, Kevin? How you doing?
Hey, how are you? Long time no see.
I missed you, buddy.
Yeah,
It's good to be back.
very good.
It's trivia night. Did you know that at McGregor's?
We know now.
It's trivia night. We love trivia night. We got a buddy here, a buddy of yours.
Yeah.
Am I going to be included in this conversation?
Of course, of course.
Good. Introduce your friend then.
Mike, how you been?
Good,
We
man.
worked
Good.
together on the risk rule.
Risk Rule was the last one. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Yep.
Yeah.
It's good to. Thanks for having me out here, guys.
Yeah.
I always catch a little bit of stardom when I start, like a little bit of that goosebumps when I'm in Kevin's presence.
Oh, yeah?
The guy's so he's got the record, you know. He's got the
tell
record.
me. I mean, I don't know. I'm still getting to know the guy. Let's take a moment to talk about how awesome Kevin is. Go ahead.
I enjoy your resume. A lot of the films that you've worked on. 12 Strong is personally one of my favorite movies.
Really?
So yeah, I love.
You
12
recommend this? I should watch this movie?
Oh, I love it.
I haven't seen any of your work yet, Kevin. Other than this, Bar Talk Live, of course.
You've
Okay.
probably seen some stuff that you just don't realize.
Right. Well, I knew the story about you throwing Kaczynski out of the helicopter.
Right.
I thought that
Jack
was a good
Ryan.
one. Yeah, Jack
Yeah.
Ryan.
Yeah.
Tell too many people about. And I love that you have a video on it. That he
Yeah.
actually made a video on Instagram for that.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, he talked about it on some late night shows, how I heard about it. He talked
Yeah.
about a guy I end up working with.
Yeah, on the
Small world.
Colbert show or late show or whatever it was called. But yeah, yeah.
So what is this movie that you love so much that Kevin is in? What does he play in the film?
I think you're probably just an advisor for that
Yeah.
one, right?
So 12 Strong was the story of a Special Forces A-team, like right when the war in Afghanistan first kicked off, and they basically went in, kind of unified the Northern Alliance, and then they were basically fighting the Taliban. But yeah, whenever we were making it, it was called Horse Soldiers. It was based on a book written by Special Forces officer major, and yeah, Jerry Bruckheimer produced. So there's gonna be
stream it?
anywhere, yeah.
For free?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's on, Netflix, Amazon Prime, or any of those. I mean, those aren't free, but if you have a membership, but
Sure.
yeah.
I know
but,
where I can find things for free.
But yeah, it was a good show. Actually, I had a small cameo as like one of the 555 soldiers, the triple nickel soldiers, which probably didn't even make the cut, but
How long have you guys known each other?
Risk Rule.
Yeah, like a year.
Yeah, maybe a year. We worked together on Risk Rule.
then.
Yeah, we go way back. Well, my film career in San Diego goes way back to 2022.
Okay.
There
So,
you go.
a lot of people have thought I've been in this a lot longer than I have because of where I've gotten in this short amount of time. But John, wherever he's floating around here, him and Big Mike, I worked with them on my very first set, big set in San Diego with Twisted.
Okay.
Yeah, and Twisted was a big one put on by George Jack.
Is that a horror film?
Yeah, it's a psychological thriller.
Okay.
And I did all the special effects. My buddy Thayer Ramirez actually brought me onto that film.
Yeah.
Because one time, my poor girlfriend back here, Rachel, when I thought I could do special effects makeup, I was like, well, let me just try on you,
So guinea pig.
Yeah, she's been my guinea pig for a lot, so I love her for that. But
Yeah. See the model for the face over here, maybe? No.
no, she's actually not the model for that. I have she actually got me for, I think, Christmas for my birthday, my very first bust that I can build prosthetics and stuff on.
Oh, cool.
So I actually built him on my prosthetic named Bruce.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so
That's
this guy was meant for. Vu Mai made a horror short for Jacob Owens, his horror short contest.
Yeah.
And it had to have a bunch of old films in it, so we used Scream and Carrie and
Yeah.
and The Mask came up in one of that from the camera view from the inside. So we got to use that in there. And that film is floated around so much. It's been in Amsterdam. It's going to so many
really?
film festivals and winning so much. It's
That's killer.
one of those small things that you think is just going to be this like slaughter fest of a day because we spilled like 4 or 5 gallons of blood in her house. She's still finding little pieces of blood on her ceiling and stuff.
Is that flavoring for some snacks we're having? What did you bring here?
This is the blood that I'm so well known for. This is what gets me on the set. This
Really?
is what started my career in special effects.
The blood
And
you created?
The blood I created because I was acting in a film for my buddy, and I was getting murdered. I was just getting hit in the face. I had to keep taking blood. And it was disgusting. Disgusting. I hated it. So I was like, I know I can do better than that.
Sure.
I can make this stuff a little better. And this stuff right now is, well, shit. It's pink lemonade.
Nice.
Yeah,
What's it taste like?
pink lemonade. It's completely edible. You gotta do it.
Alright.
That's not a bad day of on set drinking blood.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Delicious.
So I'm not only with the blood, but there's several different bloods that I make. So it's different. I mean, you never know on set if you're gonna find this guy that just got slaughtered, or if he's been washed up on a beach for a couple weeks and his blood's all clotted and dried up and stuff. So I have several different types of blood as well that I use. And like Leanne Bauer, I don't know if you guys know Leanne. You know Leanne on Risk World. She gets me onto so many sets strictly because she won't use anybody else's blood.
I love your blood.
Yeah, she loves my blood. It doesn't stain your clothes. It comes out. It tastes good. It's just a win-win.
No, that's awesome. I'm surprised nobody's came out with stuff like that before. I mean, I remember being on 13 Hours.
Yeah.
And we did this scene where we leave the consulate, and the driver is this well-known actor. He was in Grimm. He's been in a whole bunch of other stuff, but his name's Dave Gentoli. And we're leaving. We're in like a Mercedes, like up-armored SUV, and Krasinski's sitting there telling him, like, make sure you go right, make sure you go right, or maybe say make sure you go left. Either way, we went the wrong fucking way, which they really did in real life because it's based on a true story. Go around, get shot up, and I mean the whole car's all smoked out. I mean Molotov cocktail, there's like fire inside the cabin. I mean it's a Michael Bay film, so it was like, holy fucking shit! Like, is this the set that you read about? Dudes like no shit getting fucking burned to death into a fucking car because we can't get out of the goddamn doors and shit. And but the scene, like, he stops. Like, car skids, almost into a crash cam, and then you see the door fly open, and you see Dave kind of spill out as the driver. And I remember he had a mouthful of like blood and shit, and they'd taken charcoal and like ground up, and he's like, because he's supposed to be, respirating all this black shit and smoke, and he literally just vomits wad of black shit. And dude, I just remember he does all that, he's like, and people are like coming up to him, like, the whole scene, like, let's drag this guy out of there. Yeah. And we get through all that, and then it's like, okay, cut. And then, he's like wiping his teeth off and just like rinse his mouth out, and Bay is like, hold on, we're gonna do that again. Don't rinse your mouth. And like you can just see like the Dave was just deflated, like, fuck, man.
If I could make it a little bit easier of a day on the actor, I'm going to, you know. In situations like that, I probably would have used like an unbleached flower.
Right.
Something that is edible still.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more tolerant for the actor to
I mean, he
have it in their mouth over and over.
literally like had like ground charcoal, like he's like putting in his mouth.
Like, we want you to actually throw up. We want real throw up, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's rough. Method acting can be tough, huh? Method acting can be tough.
Yeah.
What inspired you to get into special effects?
I've been an artist my whole life, so I moved out here from Iowa.
Iowa,
Corn-fed. Corn-fed. So I actually acted in a movie, a little cameo back in like 2014-ish.
Right.
What got me into that movie was I painted a mural of a drive-in theater in a bar, in a drive-in theater on screen. I had put the movie that was made in our hometown by this guy named Don Ternagle. It was called named Bros. So I put that on the big screen as a painting.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, for that he's like, "Oh, that's awesome. Do you want like a speaking role next movie?" I was like, "Yes, yes, please." So he let me rip into this girl bully, and it was amazing, and I loved it. And then took a huge. I wasn't in the film community, you know. I wasn't in it in the industry. So after that, it was a big long break, and then we got to San Diego, and my girlfriend's cousin is a director and producer. So I helped him PA for a couple of sets, and then I just wanted to get into special effects because, like I said, I'm an artist, and blood and makeup and all that is just art on a different medium.
Have you ever met Greg Nicotero?
I have. I was telling my girlfriend on the way here, I was like, man, like, I feel bad because I didn't like research, or I don't know like a lot of special effects. Like, obviously I know Christian Tinsley because I'm a huge Terrifier fan. You know, so like I know some of the bigger ones, but I didn't learn from people. You know, so I didn't look them up to find out how things are. A couple times I did look stuff up. In this film, we saw a guy's leg off. So I looked up, I'm like, oh, maybe somebody will tell me how to do that. It'd be a little easier, you know? And then I find this like behind the scenes documentary from the Saw guys. Yeah. And they were saying in the behind the scenes documentary that's like, they didn't know how to do it. They're like, well, how are we gonna do this? Like, they're trying to figure it out. I'm like, oh, thanks. Cool, we'll figure this out. Yeah. We ended up pulling it off, but like, it's finding stuff out figuring out on the fly is what I like to do. And the problem solving is what I love to do. And there's a lot of that in special effects. You know, it's one of those small things in film that you can easily just say, I don't want to pay for it, but the production value it adds, it's amazing. I love the production value it adds to it. You know, like I forgot I was going to bring my little powder rounds. That's one of the things I did for Risk Rules. I was shooting the powder rounds so that we don't have to add in the dust hits.
Right.
So you're actually a mad scientist.
I like to call myself one. There's a few situations where I've really had to dig deep into science. We were at this millionaire's house and we were filming inside their pool, and the girl gets her neck slit and she falls into the pool. So now I'm putting blood in the pool, and if you Google, can you put red dye in a pool, they say, fuck no. They say, don't do it. Do not let that red dye. So I'm like, okay, so like, what is red dye? You know, and what does chlorine do, and what can chlorine? So I had to actually find a red blood that chlorine could fight. So I had to find out what chlorine was and what it actually did to combat coloring.
Sure. Right.
And to do that, I ended up mixing up a specific batch of blood that I have that's for pools, because it can be cleaned up and turned clear before it hits the filter. So sometimes it does require some science, but that's just to cover my own ass so I don't have to pay for somebody's pool filter.
No, that's awesome.
You know?
I mean, that's a lot of what, you know, the infancy of filmmaking was, people doing that, you know, and obviously it's still like that, because, I mean, obviously higher budget films and shit, people will just go, oh, fuck it, we'll VFX it. You know, we'll in post, we'll just add some, you know, red bullshit after the fact.
I don't think I'm going to rush to go see this movie, but Wicked is coming out, and they built some of the most crazy physical sets for that film, and that's what I'm fascinated about, is still, at that scale of filmmaking is really, I mean, I know there's some digital effects in it, but still, I saw some of the sets, and like, that's cool.
Yeah,
like,
I
want to see that.
Yeah, and the
Transforming,
dragon,
I would
the How to Train a Pet Dragon.
Right.
Those two ones, like,
Yeah.
the money that they're putting into these films is
It's
amazing.
insane.
I cannot wait
Yeah.
to see these things. And like you said, I'm not going to be rushing to go see it, but
Attention, if you
I do want to see it.
Yeah.
I do want to see it.
I'm a fan of analog, and you know, that's what you're doing, and practical effects, the digital thing. And I can appreciate something like Avatar and all of that, but
I think it's pronounced anal OG.
Anal OG, yeah. We keep it original over here, all anal.
So one of my good friends,
you tell her to shut up.
hey, shut up.
It's trivia night at McGregor's, and it's spaghetti nights on Saturdays. I thought you guys all like to know that.
Well, and it's like burger night on Sunday. I noticed when I was in the pisser in there, but Big props to Ian for
Great
letting us.
advertising.
Yeah,
to have
exactly.
you captured in a moment.
Yeah.
You're just there with your thoughts, and it captured
course.
you that it's burger night on Tuesday.
I thought it was Sunday.
Oh, Sunday, sorry. Yeah, I don't know.
So, a good friend of mine, his name's Howard Berger. He owns K&B Effects. So they farm out all this stuff to all the like zombie, all the Walking Dead. So I did I think it's season 3 of The Walking Dead World Beyond. It's like all these kids and stuff.
Yeah.
And but I met Howard actually on a Mark Wahlberg film. I was on Daddy's was it Daddy's Home where I met him? But Howard won an Oscar for The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and he's an Oscar-winning makeup artist.
Yeah.
And so when I was in film school, I made this short. It's called Cursed, and it was basically about a werewolf. So I reach out to Howard. I go, hey man, I want to make up one of my kids as a werewolf. Like, how hard would that be?
How hard is this actually?
Dude, he sends me this friggin' werewolf head. It basically sits like on my head like this. So you look underneath the chin.
Okay.
So it's like this tall. Dude, working eyes that like glow. It's it was insane.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect it at all. I'm like, Howard, bro, like, let me rent this from you. He goes, no.
This for my kids.
So, yeah, so I sent it back to him, and I bought him like a really nice bottle of wine, and I was like, dude, I can't thank you enough, and made the film. I had to change up some of the stuff, which it worked out great, because you really don't see there's like a big reveal at the end. I don't want to put any spoilers out there for anybody who might want to go to my YouTube page and watch Curse.
What is that YouTube page?
Oh shit! We'll have to put the link on the Bar Talk, but yeah, it'd be like. But it's on ksquared.cc, k-squared.cc, which is my website for me. But it's got all my short films and stuff that I shot. But it was an awesome experience. That was literally one of the first ones I did for school. And dude, I had my whole neighborhood. It was like my family, a bunch of my neighbors. And the funniest part, because it wound up being about like 15 minutes long, and then I had to do a director's cut, or a director's commentary, sorry. And so I basically did this commentary, which wound up being like 25 minutes long, because it's got all these like interviews in between scenes and all this stuff. So I gave a bunch of people like real roles in this director's commentary. So I made like my leading man, who's a good friend of mine, Greg, lives down the street from me, who played like the dad. And I made him like, he basically was like, hey, this is gonna be my starring role. He goes, I'm gonna hit Hollywood, this is gonna make me super famous. So I made him like total douchebag.
And it was in your werewolf film.
Well, yeah. In the
Okay, yeah, it makes sense.
And so like he had his own makeup artist, he had a manager, he had like his own assistant, and it was so funny. Yeah. Yeah, he had, and so all these people were like, yeah, they were all involved in this. So like when we were doing these scenes for the commentary, it was like, oh, and you're doing this, and the dudes were like just living it up, like playing it up really good. I had another one of my friends that played like the ASPCA guy, like when you have animals on set.
Yeah, the sad TV.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's like basically it was like, hey, because I made it like, hey, my neighbor next door is really a werewolf, and we could only film him.
So you called ASP.
And so we had to have a person there to make sure that there were no harming of the werewolf while we were filming. So yeah. So it was pretty hilarious. So where are you looking to go? Oh, the sky's the limit?
I would love to train under one of those. Not train under one of them, but just work under one of those guys for a film.
Yeah.
I don't expect to be any huge level special effects.
Yeah.
I actually enjoy directing and writing more.
Yeah.
Special effects is a lot of fun. There's no demand. There's a high demand, but there's nobody for it in San Diego.
Right.
So because of that, and I do enjoy doing it. It's an art form. because of that, I do stick with it, and it's not like it's my full-time job. By day, I'm an engineer. I'm one of the maintenance engineers at the North County Mall. So, I'm fixing a whole bunch of stuff in the mall on a daily basis. This is just
when we were kids, we called that place the North County Fair. I miss that.
That's actually, we
people
still have,
call it that.
yeah, we still have a couple accounts. When I go pick up like welding supplies, it's under North County Fair.
They don't call it the North. It used
For
to have
some
like
reason. Maybe it's because they got rid of all the rides.
yeah, they did have rides there, right?
Did they? I don't know. I'd imagine it's called a fair.
I know. Well, it's an
weird.
indoor mall, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just an indoor mall.
I think it just. I remember it had flags, and that was just their like marketing the way they did
The
it.
fair,
but,
yeah.
But that's what it was called. It's kind of like I still call it Coors Amphitheater down in Chula Vista.
Yeah.
Something's just stiff.
Mattress Firm or whatever the fuck it is.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Can't anything just stay the same?
But the good thing about you is the fact you're multifaceted. So
Yeah.
like, what a lot of people don't realize is, special effects can mean either, hey, you're blowing shit up, you're setting shit on fire, you're shooting like those dust hits, you're doing stuff like that, and then there's a makeup or special effects makeup.
There's a lot that goes into it. Yeah, there's
So
different
those
there's
are
different
two
avenues.
distinctly different departments, typically, but the fact that you're kind of dabbling in both of them is good. I mean, especially, you're marketing your own blood. I mean, have you?
Yeah,
have
I actually just got my seller's permit this year, a couple months ago, and I'm gonna start selling them in like F-style jugs, different sizes of bloods, because it just hasn't been upgraded in so long. You still see the vampire blood and stage blood and stuff
Spirit
like that.
Halloween stores next year.
Come
Get
on,
your
Spirit,
blood
pick
by
it up.
the gallon.
Well, just the fact that it washes out of stuff. Because I've been on. I'll show you a picture, or maybe we can put it on the actual show.
Yeah.
I did this show called The Last Ship, where I get blown up and then my face is all bloody and stuff. And dude, that shit does not come out of
And
your
your skin too. Like it'll stand.
it dyes your skin.
I've heard of people getting burnt from it and stuff. I'm like, what are you guys putting in this? Like, because what's necessary isn't all that, to make this very simple, but yeah.
Well, it's crazy because I had a buddy growing up that was all into that stuff, and it was literally, what's that, Cairo syrup and
Yeah,
red
like
fructose.
high fructose corn syrup. Yeah. Yeah, the only problem you're gonna have with that is like thickness, so you have to thin it down, and then you have problems with like.
What do you thin it down with?
Water.
Something sterile like urine.
Yeah, urine adds the yellow tint that we look for.
I thought you were gonna say something else, but you went there. That's fine.
You went there, that's fine.
I appreciate you.
Well, only for the taste.
Yeah, it softens up the bitterness. But yeah, no, we gotta get yellow tint from somewhere. So typically that's like a week-old urine that we'll put in there.
Right.
We picked those vials up from the homeless, so it's actually economically resourced, and we get it for free. So there's no overhead in that,
Good turnaround. It's safe for the environment.
Safer for the environment. It's better
Yeah.
than the dishes.
True.
So you made these too, right?
Yeah, so these are like a little props that I make. I haven't even had them in a film yet. They're more for like just sitting there. They're just made out of ABS foam. So the paint cracks, but they're just made out of.
They're relatively unbreakable. Snap! I'm like, whoops.
Well, these
But-
don't break, but the
What, it's supposed to represent a breastplate, or
Yeah.
It's a medium-sized
It's a-
breastplate. Kevin knows where.
that wouldn't fit. You need two, maybe three.
But they got an actual.
Yeah, I don't typically wear a medium.
A medium. That's true.
But yeah, this is what you put in your armor to stop the bullets.
So yeah, they would just be sitting there. I could just see them as like a prop sitting there next to because I actually have a short written where I copied the scene from 12 Strong, where he comes out from getting told that they're the first ones going in. So then he goes and tells his team, and they're all sitting there like lifting weights, stuff like that, sitting around the truck and everything like that. And I could just see these like on top of one of the burlap pieces just sitting there in the background, and that's what I build these little props for. It's just something that kind of sit in the
Amazing in
background.
film is like, here I'm just holding these things, but like everything on camera doesn't. It all looks so real, right? I mean, the representation of what when you're actually on a set, maybe you might see stuff that's kind of flimsy looking, but the way it comes on camera, it's,
Yeah.
you don't know.
Obviously, something like this has the look of like maybe you could use it in a sci-fi film that had like dinosaurs and stuff like that. Because no, that's not going to be created by something normal, in a
Gremlins. It's Gremlins. I was watching Gremlins yesterday.
Yeah, this what you get.
Were you?
Yes, because I have another podcast. I'm going to plug it. It's called Soundcheck Flicks, and we
You watch Gremlins?
We talk about movies. So
Nice.
taping an episode with someone who picked Gremlins. So we're gonna be talking about Gremlins. We tape these at the Casbah, so I'm doing that actually tomorrow.
I love this concept of that because what you do, I think that I heard you talking about this a little bit, where you went to Romulus with some friends,
We did actually.
and then you guys are gonna review that together, right?
We did that. We've done that episode already.
Okay.
Yeah, but typically it's not new films. It's films that are like Gremlins. So we're doing Gremlins and 500 Days of Summer tomorrow. But I'd like to get you on that show too.
Yeah, I love that.
Talk about your favorite film.
I love talking through
You too,
films and just
actually.
what they mean.
Yeah.
you know,
Cross
like-
promoting everything.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I'd love to come on there.
My first pug was named Gizmo.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I think everybody has an animal at one point named Gizmo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very
How many
relevant back
pugs did
then.
you have?
At least if you lived
3.
in the 90s.
Gizmo, Minnie, and now Toby.
Toby.
Yeah.
Phoebe Cates is in that movie, so.
Mm-hmm.
Phoebe Cates. Oh, sorry.
She's cool if you like girls.
I love to see practical effects like in that film, like watching that film and all those gremlins. And
Yeah.
that's
Cool
all
effects back
practical
then were so
effects.
fun.
Like when you put water on them, you see those little balls like pop off of them. It's like crazy. Yeah.
That's so believable.
Which I'm sure back in the day, like those guys were just making that shit up as they went along, you know?
Yeah, just what they can. They're just making it up in their garage, and that's all I do. That's all we all do is just make the shit up in our garage. And I'm like, oh, I know that this should work.
Yeah.
There's been so many times on set when I have a prosthetic that I brought too, but on Twisted with George Jack, one of the producers. I'm gonna butcher his last name, Bo Hassin. I want to say it's Hassin, but he came up to me. He's like, "Hey, can you slit my throat? I just want to lay on the ground with the neck slit, with my throat slit." I'm like, "Yeah, bro, I got you," you know. And it's like being able to do that for a director is huge because not a lot of guys. Some guys are like, "Well, I don't have the prosthetic for it." You know, you got full beard hair. How am I gonna get this? And I'm like, "Fuck it, let's get back there. Let's get this thing on there." And that kind of stuff I love doing for those last minute things for the directors when they're like, "Hey, I didn't know we were gonna do this, but can we like throw this in there too?" I'm like, "Shit, I got stuff in the kit. Let's do it," you know? Yeah. But movie magic is amazing.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff I've been able to get away with just for the right framing or lighting can hide so much and make my work look so good, you know?
Hey, we're gonna talk some more. We're gonna take a little break. It's Bar Talk Live. We're here at McGregor's. It's trivia night. Burgers on Sundays, spaghetti on Saturdays, and we'll be back with more Bar Talk Live. Thanks.
Falling hard like a tidal wave, kaleidoscope spiraling in outer space. Nothing like I've ever seen, it's just a thing of beauty.
It's Bar Talk Live. Kalina's here. Hey, Kalina, how you doing?
Hey, thanks for the drinks.
Thank you. Hey, do you mind if I get another IPA and
Cider.
a cider? Yeah. Thanks, Kalina.
You should get the Dickens cider. That's a good one.
I was watching something where people do things like that for the Peloton people. So like Peloton
Oh,
trainers,
yeah.
you know, and there's all these people watching, and then people put their names in, and they get a shout out, and they do names like that. Mike Hunt. So childish. Because they just say it, and they can't even, like, it's not even mid, they just, Hey,
Nice.
it's trivia night again, everybody here. It's Wednesday night.
See that Tuesday on Tuesday.
We have
Yeah.
a side pour here. So this is a sipping drink, not a shot.
Not a shot.
It's to complement your beverage. You were having a cider, I'm having an IPA. Vodka water, vodka tonic.
Yeah, vodka soda. Yeah.
In 2014.
So
That's some whiskey.
it's interesting you brought these.
And number 4.
It's not going to hurt me, are they?
No.
With the pins in, no.
So then you're naming the song title.
There goes Kevin immediately going to pull the pin.
Dance.
Don't encourage him,
Year
please.
of release. Number 1, Lady Gaga, 2008.
So it this looks like the real thing, something that you would carry on your.
2014.
Yeah, very similar. So like when we were in Iraq, we had these other ones. They were like Mark 141s. They were all plastic.
2019.
They're a little bit shorter, but it was like one big boom, and it had a really quick fuse. So pull the pin. As long as you had the spoon, you're good. Pull the pin, and dude, it's like less than half a second. You throw it in the room, it's like boo, and it's loud.
As soon as that pin comes, the release comes off of it.
But
you're holding this down still. You can release the pin.
yeah,
You're holding it.
typically they tell you to put this in the palm of your hand, and then you're pulling the pin, and then it's a diversionary device.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
these are very reminiscent of what the Polish Grom had whenever we were in Iraq. So they're called 9-bangers, which is funny because it actually sounds like gunfire, and it's again, it's a diversionary device. Like if you throw this in a room, it's not going to kill anybody. Just like the ones that we use, it's more for, it's a flashbang.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
okay, boom.
disorient them.
Yeah. And I mean, it'll fuck you up. Like in an enclosed space, if you throw it in there, you'll
your
have
ears
like
are ringing.
blood coming out of your ears. So, but the Grom, so we would trade stuff with the Grom, and like the ones we have, we actually started having issues with them because dudes would go to pull the pin, and they started having issues with the tops starting to come off, and then it would fucking blow up in your fucking hand, and dudes were like losing digits and shit. So,
But these weren't USA made then. You were trading those.
well, the ones that the Grom had, those were like, it was a metal body, so they were a lot safer, they were better, and when you throw them, it's like boom, 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 boom. Yeah, there's like 9 shots going off. So we hit this house one time in Iraq, and the reason I'm saying this is because the 9-bangers, it just sounds like gunfire. So we had a group of guys going into a house, and they threw a crash, one of our crashes, and it was a dud. Like it didn't go off. And we started taking gunfire, and so we flood this room, wind up shooting these 2 shitheads in the house, and this B squad, typically our SOPs was like one group would come in, they would clear the first floor, next group would come in, they would go straight up the stairs if they could. Okay. And everybody has different techniques. Some people would just clear from the top up. Some people would do top up and then helicopter in, go to, lots of different tactics and shit. But the second group that came in to go up the stairs, they didn't even know we'd taken gunfire. So they thought it was one of these 9-bangers.
Oh, shit,
So it was hilarious. I mean, it wasn't hilarious, but
Not at the time.
yeah, at the time. But yeah, the wall behind the initial entry team that went in, the wall behind them looked like Pulp Fiction. There was like holes in the walls, and like dudes were like, "Oh shit!"
Everything's slow motion. You can see the dust and the napkin fly in front of your face.
Yeah, there was a dude behind a couch. He was firing with an AK, and the charging handle of the gun, he was shooting from behind the couch, so he's laying down. So when he started firing, the charging handle of the gun actually hit the ground.
Because
And-
he's on his right hand.
Yeah, he's on his right side. It actually made the gun malfunction, or it could have been ejection issues or something. But anyways, his gun malfunctioned, and then the other dude actually wound up. He was shooting at our own guys with a gun that said U.S. government property on it, an M1911 45. Yeah. So his gun blew up in his hand and like blew all his fingers off except for his middle finger. So, but it was crazy, man. Like the dudes that came back down from upstairs.
They had no idea any of this was happening.
No, they had no idea. And at the time we weren't carrying body bags in our vehicles because, I mean, why would you? We had to roll these dudes up in carpets because we had to take these guys with us. And so, like, people coming from upstairs, they're like, what's in that rug? Like, why are you guys stealing rugs? They're like, no, there's a body rolled up in that rug there.
Why did you have to take the bodies? That's dark. Is that another?
That's another one of those weird rules. So, I don't know. So, in very infancy of the Iraq War, when we would grab people, we were still taking them to enemy prisoner war camps, and they were being interrogated for being, enemy combatants and stuff like that. And then same thing, like we would take dead bodies, like people that we actually had killed.
Yeah.
We actually had to take them to we had to take them to a morgue, and they would verify who they were. And
Oh, thank you so much.
yeah, I'm not sure what the whole legality of that was, or even why. I think more bureaucracy than anything. You probably had
Trades, probably.
well, you have family members that would probably come to the base and go, hey, you guys killed my husband. I want some reparations. And they would be like, who are you? You know, that type of thing. So I'm sure the way the rules were, they're like, okay, now if you kill anybody, you got to bring him in, you know.
What? That sounds ridiculous.
It is pretty weird.
Unless it's somebody they're trying to verify. And that's probably ultimately it. They want to verify who they got. I mean,
Well, yeah, probably.
you know, they want to check
Yeah.
that person off the
The
list.
DNA. Yeah.
Even if it's somebody that's a nobody. Well, tell me about these then. This is for a visual thing, or these would actually work if you want them to? Why did you build them? Are they for like just a set decoration to look real, or these are practical?
So, well, if you threw it at somebody, it could be a practical, a practical flying object. You're not going to get any explosion out of the thing. It's literally built so. To me, the attention's in the detail. Now, if you look at some of these pieces, there's a few of them like right here. On this, it says USA and it's stamped in there.
Yeah.
So like that little PVC piece actually just came with USA already stamped in there. I'm like, that's fucking cool, you know? Like you can't just put that in there. And then they're colored different. So like, what do you got? A yellow, a blue, a red, a black. Right here it says M84.
lemon, right?
Yeah, that one's the lemon. So that one that one is a visual thing. It squirts in the eyes like a pepper spray. But then it says like M84. And I have no idea what that means.
Purple tastes great.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a flavored attack. But they're made out of the crudest things. They're just made out of PVC pipe. The inside sleeve is another piece of PVC pipe with a silver tape on it, like a chrome tape for ducting. And then this top piece is actually a lawn it's like like the fake plastic, composite plastic, the lawn stakes that you use for like edging and landscaping.
Oh, no shit.
So yeah, you can see like yeah, it's just like a rubber, like a hard plastic lawn stake that is cut into that shape.
Well, and the good thing too about these is, you know, you can put them in your gear and even have people throw them.
Functional to the point where you can pull a pin and make it look good, you know, and then throw it and it's gonna stay together. So it looks good. You throw the VFX in downrange, you know, if you have to.
Like you have an insert or something, you see this thing come rolling in, and then, you know, go back to your wide shot, and you have your guys put a flash powder, some shit.
Those quick cuts where they're gearing up. They throw the grenades in, they cock the gun, they get ready to go out, you know.
One of my favorite things is that they made the lightsaber out of a lighting device. A camera device. It's the lightsaber in Star Wars. They made it from, it's actually made from like a photographic device.
Oh,
Wow.
Like it's from a camera piece.
Oh, it's like
the original lightsaber.
The original one, like the handle and stuff.
That's just, the handle is something.
Yeah. They can be made out of anything.
It's a lighting thing, but it's part of a camera.
Yeah.
That's very
I love being able to build stuff and being like, well, what am I gonna make that out of, you know? So like it's everything's so versatile.
What's some of the hardest stuff you had to build? I mean, this is pretty ingenious. I mean, obviously it's
The hardest thing I had to build, it's honestly hands down. There's one in particular, and the movie's not out yet. It's a fan film by my buddy Ricky Garcia. It's called Pathogen. I did some prop building for it. I was gonna do special effects for it, but the guy that he has doing special effects on it, I would pray to work under. He is a god. Like when you see this film, you ever played Dead Space growing up? The video game?
Familiar with
It's a remake. It's a fan film of Dead Space, and this man, the production value of this film is off the charts. It's going to be amazing, and I wouldn't have been able to do the justice that he deserved on that. The guy who did the special effects, I don't know his name. Hopefully, we can add it in later and plug it in. But the guy is amazing. The guy is amazing. It's called Pathogen. He's still in post production for it. But it's going to be an amazing fan film. I've seen some cuts from it, and it's so good, yeah. But that's my buddy Ricky Garcia. I had to build armor for this guy named Hammond. So it's full armor that lights up, and it's completely front and back. And then this gun that was like this like phase gun or something that the innards of what I'll we'll plug some pictures in here. But the main barrel of it is a Coleman thermos.
Oh, right on.
And like everything is that just kept pushing down the line. Everything is just so like crude as to what there, but you would just never be able to tell when you look on the outside or when you hold it that it's made out of such garage items. You know, it looks like it belongs in the prop. It looks just like it's from the video game. Yeah. And you just never be able to tell. So I love being able to do that, being able to fool somebody. Like, you're holding a thermos. Like, you're shooting somebody with a thermos.
That's the beauty of movie magic.
Yeah.
And how they can make something look.
Well, and that is
Camera
pretty
so
crazy
much.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that brings me to some of the crazier shit I've seen, like Comic-Con. Dude, some of the stuff some of these people build
Cosplay?
cosplay stuff, I'm like,
Those big Halo outfits and stuff like that. Yeah.
like I got a buddy I worked with on a couple shows, and he builds stormtrooper friggin' armor,
Yeah.
like from scratch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And
now
he's-
with the digital printers, you can make some
Yeah.
really cool stuff. 3D printers.
Yeah.
You can make your own stuff.
And unfortunately, I'm not tech savvy to save my life. Like, I'm very, very untech savvy. So, like, I can use like my Cricut and stuff when I make stickers.
Yeah.
Like all these were stickers that I put on, then painted over, and then peel
like
the
a
sticker back
stencil or
off.
something.
Yeah, so I use a stencil if I want perfect lettering. But when it comes down to like that kind of stuff, I can't. I'm so bad with technology. I can build it with my hands. I've been a blue collar guy for the last 20 years. So I'm construction my whole life. So building with my hands I'm good with. Technology, no. No.
Work with your hands.
Yeah, exactly. I do want to know it. I do want to learn it, but it's just so difficult to me. It's so foreign.
What do you use for the mask? Like latex or?
That's all liquid latex. So liquid latex, and I added some stitching in there. But that's probably like just 5 or 6 layers of liquid latex.
Where do you get that? You like order it online or something? Or? Okay.
Order liquid latex.
They have
We
your,
can liquid latex your whole body.
just my groin. Dental dam.
I've done a lot with liquid latex. I have another little prosthetic.
Is that a rubber?
So this is. You would think so. This is where a prosthetic.
Magnum.
This is where a prosthetic starts. So this is just a bunch of liquid latex and what looks like rubber bands and just.
Okay.
And that's all it looks like. It looks very crude
Yeah.
to begin with. I can plug in a picture of what this looks like dressed up and applied to an actor.
Yeah.
This is one that's meant to be applied to like the cheek area and have a face that gets peeled away from something. So when you peel, they break. You can see that little that stretch that you want, and then it eventually snaps. So that's what that. I love doing this. This is, I mean, it's rubber bands and like cardboard and stuff.
So I watched a movie the other day. I think it's called Thanksgiving. It's a horror film. Yeah. And the woman gets put in an oven, and that's what happens at one point. She gets like stuck to the oven, and she has to like peels her face away from the oven. Oh. I'm not a fan of. We had to watch it for the podcast, man. But,
I honestly, I'm not a body horror fan. Like, I don't like Saw. I don't like a lot of the stuff that I have to do.
I hear the substance is amazing.
See, that's awesome. That's just a simple prosthetic. You know, it's just a simple prosthetic, but it looks.
That was from the blockbuster film Navy SEALs versus Zombies.
Kept that. It actually looks good on you.
Well,
Nice.
the funniest thing about that too is I sat in the chair the whole time, and they're applying all this stuff, and then I hadn't put my wardrobe on. I just had the pants on, so I still had to put the shirt on and the body armor. So I go in the trailer and I go to put this thing on, and I'm like this, and I go like this, and it's like it's all stuck together, and I'm all like, oh my god, dude, they're gonna kill me. And I go back in there, and they're like, oh no, simple fix. They like peel off, and yeah, which was crazy because we filmed that in like 2015, and the makeup artist, there was a 2 or 3 of the makeup artists that worked on that I ran into when I did the Walking Dead World Beyond, the spinoff in like 2020, I think. Yeah. So 5 years later, and they're like they're next level with, from there, now they're doing full, face and head prosthetics and with like shit gushing out. And I mean, dude, just.
I love zombies.
Yeah.
I watched all the Walking Dead stuff,
Yeah.
including that one,
Did you?
which was okay.
Yeah.
It had part of the universe stories. I had to watch it.
It was an interesting show because it was kids,
Yeah.
but it was like, wow,
It
that's.
gave a lot of backstory to stuff in the universe that you wouldn't have gotten if you didn't watch it. If
Yeah.
you watched all the other ones. Although I'm lagging right now on the Daryl in France, whatever it is.
Oh yeah. What is it? Walking Dead, Daryl
Yeah.
Dixon? Is that his name?
Yeah, Daryl Dixon. He's a badass.
Zombies is always a good showcase for special effects and practical. It's always a good practical special effects showcase.
Hey, it's trivia night.
Trivia night at McGregor's. How we doing? How's
Cheers,
our team
guys.
doing?
Yeah. I think we're good.
Write this down and use a pen to write.
So what's your dream? Obviously, genre would be, I would guess, would be some type of like horror.
No, thriller. I'm a thriller guy. Yeah, I'm a thriller guy.
Michael Jackson.
I fuck with him. No, I enjoy thrillers, psychological thrillers. Like I said, I'm not like huge into Saw. Those body horrors. Terrifier is different. Art.
Is it? Okay, because I'm intrigued to want to watch them now because of the success of the third one.
The comedy of it, the comedy aspect of it, and the kills are the kills are just funny enough, or like they're just fake enough to where you can watch them through.
He looks like a clown.
Art the Clown?
The film, the third one just came out like a month ago, and it blew away like Blockbusters. It's a smaller independent company making the film.
Wow.
And it just did immensely well. But the kills in it are, I guess a kid dies in this one. I don't think you see it, but a kid dies off screen. But it's the kill in the Terrifier 1 I heard about where
Upside down.
girl upside down.
It's so good.
JJ.
Okay, literally, yeah. Saw it upside down from the vagina all the way to right here, and she just split open like if you imagine a hot dog doing that. But it looks fake enough for you to watch it. It's not like Saw. It looks real. It looks like they're getting sawed up. In Terrifier, you can tell because he's using a hacksaw. First off,
Oh
you can tell it's not real, and it's just like
man, was it at least a rusty hacksaw?
they hadn't seen any action for a couple of years before that. Yeah, so.
But he's the new Michael Myers, Freddy, Jason.
No shit.
This guy, Art
How
the
long ago
Clown.
did this come out?
Well, it's weird because he was introduced in a short film first.
Okay.
And then there's now 3 Terrifier films.
Yeah, I can't remember what is that, Sleepy Hollows or something like that. The first ones that they made, I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, it's a series of Art. Stories. Yeah, Art was introduced before that, and now he's just gonna go down as a horror legend. He's gonna go down as a horror legend because he's silent and
He's not part of SAG. Those speaking roles.
But
That's
it's
funny.
fascinating because it's a low budget film technically.
Yeah.
It just like destroyed
Wow,
the
I have
box
to check it out.
Yeah, you fall in love with Art,
Yeah.
the clown. That's the clown. You fall in love with his character because it's just you want to know. To me personally, I want to know his backstory now.
Yeah.
I want to know what made Art. And a lot of people are like, no, we don't need to see that. We're good with what it is. I'm like, I kind of want to see what made him because.
Well, that's almost to that level of Tarantino, where he talks about like some of the characters, like Marcellus Wiley. He's got the Band-Aid on the back of his head. They're like, why does he have that? And there's all these hypotheses and theories of like, it's like, oh, that's where his soul was ripped out of his head and all this shit. And like Tarantino goes, that's great. He goes, I want people's mind to go wild with all these theories and what they think is, because he goes, that makes my job better because I don't have to come up with this shit.
Yeah, he doesn't he doesn't need a backstory on a character when he can just plant a simple seed of a Band-Aid. Yeah. So it's put a scar on a guy's face and now he's a whole different character. So.
So did you see, speaking of people's legs and shit getting sawed off, did you see Law Abiding Citizen?
I love Law.
That's with Gerard Butler?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
And Jamie Foxx, and there's a handful of other dudes in there. Yeah, but that was one of the ones where I was like, this is it's not too gory. Obviously, he starts to show him, he basically, I don't know if you've seen the movie or not, but he basically, he grabs this dude that had literally murdered his wife and kid, and the dude basically kind of turned state's evidence and like no, like I didn't do it, like he did it, and like his buddy was like, what the fuck? Like his buddy winds up getting the death penalty, and this guy, he does like 18 months, he's out of prison, and because he cooperated. So, Gerard Butler's character basically gets the guy on the run, and he's dude's holding a gun. That Gerard Butler's character, he's some like engineer that used to work for the CIA and like does all this crazy shit. But when he pulls the trigger, like all these like barbs come out of the gun and like basically paralyze him. He's like, oh, that's some neurotoxin from a blowfish. He goes, you're going to be completely paralyzed, but you're going to still feel all the pain. And so he takes him, he straps this dude to a table, and he's got a mirror above him.
Yeah.
And he starts talking about all the crazy shit he's going to do, and then literally the only thing you really see is him start to like cut his foot off with like a skill saw, and then it ends. But he talked about like, cutting his junk off with a box cutter, and and like,
this is a family show.
He's got him on an IV drip, so he's like, oh, I'm going to go ahead and give you a little bit of epinephrine to like, ease your mind here and get your blood. He's got tourniquets on him so the dude doesn't bleed out.
Have you ever seen the film Tusk? Kevin Smith film called Tusk. This podcaster goes to this man to interview him for something, but the man ends up literally turning him into a walrus. It's the wackiest film I've ever seen, and literally like.
Is that like the human centipede?
And in the end, the poor guy's like in a zoo as a walrus living his life out. And that's what he's gonna be. Hey.
To be on a fly on the wall during the elevator pitch of some of these movies, like to the company, to somebody like backing the film, Human Centipede. How did that go? How did you propose that movie, and who said yes? Who said you have a good idea here? The whole team.
Well, did you see the South Park?
Like date night, yes.
Did you see the South Park rendition of that?
The rendition of it, yes.
It was basically like, it evolved from him just scrolling to the bottom of like an Apple agreement and hitting agree without reading it, which who the fuck reads those things? Yeah. He goes, how can you just hit agree without reading it? And he goes, oh my God, now we get to sew your mouth to this Japanese guy's ass. And the dude is like, should I eat cuttlefish with asparagus or the strawberry paste? Or whatever it was. He goes, cuttlefish with asparagus? Oh. He's like, I'm so hungry.
Just the thought of it, man. Like, it just started from a bad apple.
Please, we don't need to go anywhere further down that way. Mike Marshall, what are you working on right now as we kind of wrap this up? Is there anything we can like plug for you or mention, or if somebody watches this and they need a special effects guru, like where do you have a website or somewhere?
I have Instagram. Instagram is The Real Mike Marshall.
The Real Mike Marshall.
Real Mike Marshall, yeah.
I'm the real Kevin Kent.
Damn, so we're not fake at all. Fucking right.
I'll drink to that.
And Tim Piles is
the local pile.
The local pile.
Okay, local pile, the 2 real ones.
Yep.
So I'm actually in pre-production for my very first film. We're gonna be starting filming here in late January.
No kidding.
Yeah, and that film is
directing it?
Yeah, I'm directing.
Awesome.
I wrote it, and I already have the whole team. It's all cast, everything like that. It's my passion project. So we'll definitely see more about that. It's just it's a film that kind of dabbles with fear. With fear and how we're not born with it. So it dabbles in that concept, and that should be, like I said, we're in pre-production now. We're gonna be starting to film here in January, and then also I work with a production team called Extra Rad. Extra Rad, and if you haven't checked out their YouTube, you're just missing out. These guys are for San Diego, San Diego, LA, doesn't even matter for who. They are amazing. The very first year I ever worked with them, the first project I ever worked with them on was a 2023 48-hour film project. They ended up winning that. And then being on their team, I ended up taking first in the special effects. So yeah, best of special effects. They won best film. They're an amazing team. They make such high production.
I already follow you.
You definitely on Instagram. You definitely follow me.
Real one.
I was like looking for it, like, what the hell?
But yeah, on YouTube, check out Extra Rad. We're working on season 2 right now. I help them out with a lot of their stuff. They little skits and stuff like that. But they do a lot of amazing work, and that's who I work with the most right now.
Killer.
So
I
yeah.
appreciate it. We want to thank Bragabilia Energy, Quiet Flex in the can. Find it in a local
Si,
store.
senor.
If they don't have it, ask for it.